When it comes to building bigger arms, focusing on triceps development is absolutely critical. While most trainees associate bigger arms with biceps training, the triceps actually make up 2/3 of the upper arm. So if your goal is to add inches to your arms in the least amount of time possible, then listen up, because in this video, I'm going to share the only 3 dumbbell triceps exercises you need for bigger arms. But first, let's quickly go over the basic anatomy of the triceps and their functions so that you can understand exactly what muscles are involved and what movements they're responsible for. The triceps are composed of 3 heads located on the posterior and lateral aspect of the upper arm. The triceps are split into a long, medial, and lateral head. The long head, which is located toward the back of your arm, is the largest of the 3. The lateral head, as the name suggests, sits on the lateral aspect of the arm and is most visible from the side, and the medial head, which is mostly covered by the other 2 heads. The main function of the triceps is elbow extension or straightening out the arm. Anytime we extend the forearm at the elbow joint, all 3 triceps heads are active. The long head of the triceps, however, also helps to extend the shoulder joint or bring the arm behind the body due to its origin on the scapula. According to EMG research, the triceps long head is preferentially activated in shoulder extension, meaning the closer your upper arms are to your torso, and even more so when the upper arms pass the body, the more involved the long head becomes. On the other hand, the medial and lateral heads are more preferentially activated in shoulder flexion, reaching peak force production at around 90 degrees of elevation and above. So the higher your arms are raised, the more these 2 heads are emphasized. With that said, while there are ways to emphasize different heads of the triceps, anytime we extend the arm at the elbow joint, all 3 heads are involved, meaning it's impossible to isolate one head over the other. Now that we know what muscles we're working and what functions they're responsible for, let's get into the only 3 dumbbell triceps exercises you need for bigger arms. Exercise number 1. Dumbbell JM Press. The Dumbbell JM Press is effective for stimulating all the triceps heads, allowing for heavy loading and engaging the muscles throughout their entire range of motion. Thus, if I could only do one triceps exercise in a session, this would be the one. When performing the Dumbbell JM Press, it's essential to keep your elbows up and limit shoulder movement. This technique limits shoulder involvement, ensuring that the triceps remain the primary mover. The unique aspect of the JM Press is its impact on the triceps long head, which can be seen as the rectus femoris of the upper arm. Similar to how the rectus femoris does not significantly grow from exercises like squats and leg presses, the long head of the triceps requires a change in relative length to experience tension and force production. Since the long head crosses both the shoulder and elbow joint, exercises that involve shoulder flexion with elbow extension, such as close grip bench presses, do not effectively engage the long head. By performing the JM Press with a fixed shoulder position, the relative length of the long head is altered throughout the range of motion, resulting in increased force production and mechanical tension. It is inevitable, though, that there will be some shoulder movement as you reach the final third of the range during the concentric and the first third of the range on the eccentric. This is where the lateral and medial heads take over to extend the elbows, since the extension ability of the long head is inhibited. We can also see in this study from the Journal of Human Movement Science that the internal moment arms of each head change with elbow joint angle. Thus, as long as an external moment arm is present, which is every part of the range aside from the top lockout position, there will be significant activation of all the triceps heads. So strive to keep your elbows high throughout the entire movement. Then, when shoulder flexion is unavoidable, press the weight up by contracting the triceps until lockout. Exercise number 2. Pjr Pull Over. The Pjr Pull Over is an effective and joint-friendly exercise that targets the triceps while minimizing stress on the elbow joints compared to conventional overhead dumbbell extensions. To perform the Pjr Pull Over, begin by lying on a bench while holding one end of a dumbbell using both hands. From there, let your shoulders go into 180 degrees of flexion. Bend your elbows and lower the dumbbells behind your head to fully lengthen the triceps. Then, in the concentric, initiate the movement by extending the elbows while also extending the shoulders until your arms are locked out at the top. While this exercise is particularly effective for training the medial and lateral heads, as it involves working from 180 to 90 degrees of shoulder flexion where they create most of their force output, it also engages the long head of the triceps due to its attachment to the scapula and humerus. Because it's a bilateral movement, one advantage of the Pjr Pull Over is that it allows you to go heavy, and typically higher loads lead to better muscle fiber recruitment and thus better hypertrophy signaling. And exercise number 3, chest supported dumbbell kickbacks. One study by Behrens and Buskys looked at some of the best movements for the long head of the triceps. Surprisingly, the dumbbell kickback was the single most effective exercise in terms of EMG activation. Rather than a traditional triceps kickback, however, they used a 60-degree angle on an adjustable bench. Since the long head is activated when the arm is behind the torso, the conventional dumbbell kickback won't be as effective. When you're at an incline, it's far easier to squeeze your shoulder blades together and place your elbows behind the torso. Keep in mind, this movement is only effective as long as you keep your upper arms parallel to the floor. Fail to do so, and you could reduce muscle activation by as much as 20%. This is why I recommend that you start with a light weight and focus on proper form as well as a good mind-muscle connection. So there you have it, the only 3 dumbbell triceps exercises you need for bigger arms. Whether you train from home and only have access to dumbbells or simply want to change things up a bit, include these exercises into your triceps training and watch your arms grow. Did you find this video helpful? If so, click the like button below as it'll truly help out the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more videos and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next one. Peace.